Hello, hello, welcome or welcome back. Let's sit back, relax, have a snack, and enjoy. Sit at My Grave, Season 4, Sanity or Salvation, Chapter 4. Hey Arden, it's Galen. Arden gasped outwardly, his burning eyes widening. He had so many mixed emotions about Galen lately. Weird fights, awkward exchanges. The only thing he could think of in that moment was how good it felt to hear his voice. Arden jutted forwards, clutching his chest. He was calling him. He wanted to talk to him. He hadn't pushed him away. Galen didn't want him out of his life. All the thoughts came rushing in. His best friend, just when he needed him, he was there again. You don't deserve this. Neither does he. Painful words echoed through his head, slowly taking the hopeful, broken smile off his face. His own past words hit him hard. He remembered the way he spoke to Galen, yelled at him, blamed him. Their latest argument, regardless of the points he made to Galen, there was no reason to act like that. He's the one that caused all of this. What right did he have to make Galen suffer for it? What right did he have to make anyone suffer? These were his mistakes. Wherever he went, he caused something tragic. So horrible. Only getting worse. It was exhausting. But he couldn't make it stop. Not fully. He got one piece of the puzzle, and still, things were so grim. I hope you're coming home too. Arden grabbed his phone, interrupting the message, his hands shaking as he held it to his ear. So much had happened. There were so many things to say. All he could choke out was Galen's name. Oh! Galen sounded shocked. His demeanor changed. He suspected he and Arden would speak again, but he hadn't thought it would be like this. It seemed like such a long time since they'd been apart. Hi. How are you? Galen stumbled out. Arden placed one hand over his mouth. He shakily got to his feet. He felt so lost, so tempted to blur out the truth of everything. The burning desire deep in his chest propelling him forward against the bits of doubt in his own head previously had completely swamped. Now, all he felt was heaviness there. But where would he even start? Galen had shown him plenty of times he wouldn't believe him, and even if he did, there's no guarantee he'd even want to help him with it. He had no obligation to. Arden thought. Galen had been more than kind enough to him. Galen's question hung in the air. Such a casual way to start a conversation, but left Arden frozen, mind scrambling for the words. He just couldn't seem to find himself. He should feel accomplished. He'd been begging for answers, promising he'd do anything. He had the knife now, used it like he assumed he was meant to, but still, after all that work, he stood there in the cold, shaking with his phone, feeling more lost and afraid than ever, shameful and confused. Arden? Did you hear me? Galen spoke again in confusion. I was just... I'm okay. Arden mumbled out. Oh, that's good, Galen answered nervously. Arden just didn't sound right. He wanted to press him further. Every time they got too involved in each other's lives lately, it didn't seem to end well. I thought you weren't going to pick up, Galen replied with a dry laugh, desperately trying to inject some levity into whatever this phone call had become. I'm sorry. I'm just almost out of time, Arden answered, followed by an unsteady inhale. Your what? Galen questioned, frowning. My phone, Arden corrected, trying to restore his voice. I've been out for a while. I had to get another phone plan for out here. It's been a real pain to pay for, Arden answered. It wasn't completely truthful. That hadn't been the reason he didn't answer right away, but at least it was something. There was no way he could actually see the truth in its entirety. He was still having a hard time wrapping his own head around it. Oh yeah, I guess I don't want you to waste your data on this, Galen chuckled. It's not a waste, Arden spoke quietly, cutting Galen's laugh off. Are you okay, Arden? Galen implored. concern leaking into his tone. Human compassion, empathy. Arden couldn't help twisting his expression in pain, even if it was restoring what needed to be done. After viciously attacking someone, Arden only felt disgusted having any of that sympathy shown his way. The anger he harbored when he was young and pointlessly pushing people away had fizzled out. He hadn't deserved that kindness back then, during, or after his brother's funeral, and refused to let himself be comforted, lashing out at his family and friend who tried to help him. But now, he almost felt like crying hearing it again. I'm okay. This trip's been exhausting, Arden told him. He bit his lip, taking down a rough swallow. He needed help, but he couldn't accept it. Even if the intentions were good, Arden knew deep down, aside from not deserving it, honestly, no one could truly help him. And no one would want to if they knew all the grisly details of how he got into this mess. In some ways, the concern, assistance, words of encouragement, they were all fake. If they knew, they'd never accept him. He wouldn't want them to. Okay, well, hey, you never said if you're coming home or not. I'm not saying you have to or anything, it's just your mom and grandma talked about inviting my family and I for the holidays. They're really excited about it, and so am I. They they also want to do a small remembrance celebration for Reed. I don't know if anyone got a chance to tell you about it, so I thought I would. Gal rambled nervously. Arden heard him shuffling around, most likely on the road now. Arden's eyes widened, his grip tightening on his phone. Reed. The name seemed to hold so much for him. It was like a slap to the face. All this concern over what he'd done, all that wallowing self-pity. Again, he was losing focus. He was doing this for Reed. It wasn't about him or anyone else. He had to remind himself. Everything he was doing was supposed to happen, regardless of how he felt about it. Doing this work was a threat on his mind, his very humanity itself, and he knew that now more than ever. Despite himself, he couldn't afford to slow down. Whenever he got his next mission, he'd be ready for it, whatever the cost. He'd already lost too much. I'm on my way home too. And try to get there for the celebration, Arden answered. He was once again on his feet and began trucking towards the airport, bearing his own emotions under his determination.